I try to come out here as often as I can, as far away from cell service as I can, and try to give my brain just a couple hours of quiet, where I don't have to think about whatever my phone or the TV wants me to think about, and I can kind of just let myself disconnect, wander where I want to, and it's amazingly relaxing. But I wish I didn't have to drive an hour and a half into the forest in order to get that feeling. You know what I mean? I think back to when I first got into the industry, everything was just this gaudy maximalism. It was the 50, 60-inch Fujitsu Panasonic plasma TVs that were $15,000, $20,000, putting a TV in the bathroom and a TV in the bedroom and a TV in the kitchen. They had huge speakers that took up half the living room, and they wanted to show off and flex by how much stuff they had, and it's so different to how we are approaching interior design today. We want to make everything invisible whenever we can. Think about the mirror TV and the art TVs. I think about the invisible speakers that we put in a wall and cover in stone. They would never imagine that that wall is also what produces music in the space. And it's just so different to how it was done back then, and I love the direction that the interior design industry is pushing into this minimalism that allows us to have the technology, but also allows us to let go whenever we want and to not feel like we're surrounded by it. If you do a YouTube search for smart home, you'll quickly find out that it's going to require a PhD
using TCP or UDP over IPv6. So make sure that IPv6 is enabled on your router by checking your network settings.
and a part-time job.
As a father of three, the first thing that came to mind was automatic lights. So, like any sane person would, I installed over 100 GE Jasco smart motion switches, only to discover that
they were so buggy
that they've rendered my entire Z-Wave smart home network
pretty much inoperable.
Your smart home solutions should be simple. Your ecosystem should be maintenance-free, and if your internet goes down, it doesn't mean your lights stop working. I want my home to make it as easy for me as possible to set down my phone and to not touch it for the rest of the day. And I think this is a place where a lot of the smart home industry gets it wrong. Look at these light bulbs that I picked up from the store the other day. The picture they're advertising to me is someone sitting on the couch on their phone. Then there's another picture on the side. It's a couple sitting on their bed, on their phone. What are you selling to me? That I'm gonna use my phone more? That's not, I don't know who wants that. Nobody wants that. I don't wanna have to pull up my phone for anything. So if it can't be done with a physical remote, with physical buttons, it should be able to be done with a keypad on the wall with physical buttons. And barring that, it should be able to be done with voice if it's very complex. If it can't be done with any of those things, I don't know if I really want it. No more screens. Placing the rule right now. We're done with screens. I got an ad today for light switches that have screens on them.
oh my god! Oh my god!
Everything needs to have a screen if it's going to be smart, and I can't take it anymore. My thermostat has a screen. Refrigerators have screens. TV remotes have screens for some reason. You don't need to get a TV remote with just buttons like the good old days. You don't need a TV remote with a screen. Light switches with screens is off the rails. Off the rails. No more screens. Your home should be the place where you can be your most authentic. You're by yourself. You invite your closest friends and family. You shouldn't have to pretend to be something that you're not. And the same goes for your materials. If I see brass in my home, it should be real brass. If I see aged bronze in my home, it should be aged bronze. If I see woods in my home, I want them to be real wood. And if I use plastic, that's fine. But I shouldn't have it pretend to be something that it's not. It is incredibly important that whoever you're working with for your remodel is asking questions. I think that's one of the biggest red flags whenever I'm working with a company. If they're not asking me or asking the end client enough questions about who is going to live there, I want to know absolutely everything about you. Tell me about who's living in the house. How many kids do you have? What are their personalities like? Do you live with your parents? Do you plan on living with your parents in a couple years? Are they going to be moving in at some point? Do you guys like to entertain? When you do entertain, what does that look like today? What do you want that to look like in the future? If you closed your eyes, dreamed that you won the lottery, what are your loftiest goals for what your space could possibly achieve? I think all of those questions are so important to getting down to help your house function around who's actually going to live there. You know, we have all of these different guidelines for what we think are the best design philosophies, but ultimately it comes down to what do they want their space to be. And I think unless you're asking deeper questions about how somebody lives in the space day to day, you don't truly have an understanding of how you can best serve the home and serve the family that lives there. If you need help with your new build or remodel, let me know and we can help build a better space for you and your family.